Mino Line Media presents the Business First Podcast.
Hi, all, and welcome to a new episode of Business First with Sonia Alleyne. I am your host, and today in studio is Mr. Brian Thompson, who is the founder and financial planner of Brian Thompson Financial LLC, where his focus is on helping LGBTQ plus and mission-driven entrepreneurs build profitable businesses that reflect who they are and support the impact they want to make. Welcome, Brian.
Thank you, Sonia, for having me. I'm excited to talk with you.
Yeah, I am too, because I think that is so powerful. Helping them build profitable businesses that reflect who they are and support the impact that they want to make. You're also a fellow podcaster, and the name of your podcast is Mission Driven Business. So it's all in line with the vision that you have and the values that you have and in the world out here today.
Exactly.
One of the things that I wanted to focus on, and I heard you talked about this in another podcast where you were interviewed, and I'd like us to really explore it fully. Just so that you know, my background is I worked at Black Enterprise. I was an editorial director there for years and interviewed a number of different entrepreneurs and corporate folks. And a big reason that corporate professionals left to become entrepreneurs was because they felt like they were seen and they didn't have the value. They couldn't operate at the full capacity of their value in corporate spaces. And so they felt that those opportunities would be greater in an entrepreneurial space. But in this interview, you also talked about, you find that members of the LGBTQ community are still struggling even in the entrepreneurial space. And that's some of what you help them achieve. And so can you talk about the importance of being able to be your full self, no matter where you are, whether you're in the corporate space or in the business space, why that is so important?
Yeah, it's a great question because to me, it's all about alignment. I love to use the word alignment. And when we're aligned with who we are and who we want to be in the world, and also aligning that with what we are doing, magical things happen. And so I always tell people, you still have to be who you are. You still have to know who you are. So it starts with a process of self-discovery, being sure that you've done the work around who you are, who you want to be, because we all have struggles, right? With trying to figure out who we are in this realm of society telling us who we want to be, what we need to do, and how we need to approach things. So first, doing that personal work and saying, all right, it's okay to be myself. It's okay to be who I am. I'm lovable as I am is one of my phrases that I remind myself of. And knowing who that person is and being able to really show that full person to the world is the first step. And then being able to align who you are and how you show up with the business that you're running is the second step. And those two need to coincide. And it's hard. It's difficult, right? I think that people tend to assume that they are, that they know who they are or who they want to express in the world, but it's not always true, right? We have all these other voices in our head telling us who we need to be and how we need to show up. So that's where I think the struggle comes in, that people don't know who they are. And then when they do, being able to have the confidence to put their full selves out in the world, despite everything that's going on, especially in the world right now. There's so much hate, especially for the LGBTQ community, that it's scary. It's scary to put yourself out there. But I think it's one of the most important things that you can do.
How do you make that alignment with your clients, or how difficult is that realization for the people that you are working with to say? Because I guess what you're saying too is a lot of people just think that I'm doing this business and the business has nothing to do with what I am or who I am. But what you're saying is it has everything to do with who you are and how you operate. And you need to make that alignment if you're going to be able to fully access all the things that you need to access in business.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And I think that really entails you having a good sense of who you are, like I said before. And so we go through the process of helping our clients establish their mission, vision, and values. We go through a discovery process for my clients where we have 3 meetings initially before you're a full ongoing planning client. We talk about where you are. I call it the Get Organized meeting, to figure out what resources you have now to help build your business. We have a vision meeting, which helps me to understand and define where you want to go, what you're trying to build. And then the third is the knowledge meeting, how we help you get from one place to the other, and having a roadmap of making sure that you are living in alignment with your mission, vision, and values, and also expressing the business in a way that is reflective and aligned with your talents. I think we all have really defined and really specific talents that we can give to the world. And our job, in my opinion, is to make sure that we are fulfilling those talents and giving those talents to the world in the best of our ability. And so we go through the process of that discovery, figuring out where you are, where you want to be, and then giving you one step to the other to help you have alignment in that process.
Okay. Does the aha moment for your clients thrill you, surprise you, amaze you?
Yeah, all of the above. I love those moments. I feel like I've been put on this earth to really help shepherd people through this process. I love feeling aligned in who I am and who I want to be in the world. And I think this is my talent. I was a philosophy major in college, philosophy and English double major, and then I went to law school and became a tax attorney. So I had this unique ability, I think, to hold both the art and the science of planning, the mushy mission, vision, value stuff with the technical tax preparation, bookkeeping, cash flow stuff, and being able to put all those together to know that all of this is here to help you create a business that really has the impact that you want and also give you the best life. I think both of those things can be true. And I love those moments when I always tell people you can build whatever you want. You get to build whatever you want. We just have to figure out what that is. And it takes people a little while to realize it. But like you said, when they have the aha moment, I'm like, yes, this is what I was here to do, right?
This is what you
give them that light. You can see the light on their face. You can see their shoulders roll back because they have now realized that they're aligned in what they do. And that's such a powerful moment for me.
Have you seen the difference in, because I'm imagining that people will require your services at different points of their career. Have you watched people go from being stuck to being unstuck and saying, oh, now I get it? And if you have, can you tell us what that's like from the client side?
Yeah, I think it's less of like stuck versus lost. I had one client tell me, how the phrase is like, you can't see the forest beyond the trees. He didn't know where the forest was, right? He had just started his own business. He just started his own consulting business. And he was confused about sort of where to go, what I need to do, how I need to set this up. He knew he had a talent. He knew he could help people get stuff done. But he didn't really know how to build a business around that. And so we took him from the very beginning of how the fundamentals of building a business, and he built that business and then built another business on top of that. That was even more impactful and even more profitable. And being able to see that journey for me is really exciting, to know that people go from one step to the other. And it's really just about taking the next right step and being able to see then the impact that they have on the world. And that's also part of my vision. My mission is that I can help move boulders out of people's way so they can have the impact that they want to have. And them having that impact then creates a ripple effect, that we can make this world a better place when everybody is doing the thing that they're put on the earth to do. And then just continue to have a ripple effect from there. So it's amazing. And, he's not the only client. I've seen people really stress about how their business is going to operate, especially at the start of this year, right? When the administration changed and they thought they know that they were under attack, and felt very scared for their livelihood, for their ability to stay in the country, right? How do you run a business with that type of fear? And it's really, again, about keeping one foot in front of the other and saying, all right, so where are we right now? What do we need to do to keep iterating, to keep that build, measure, learn cycle going, even despite the fear that's happening and the money that's freezing up, all of those things, being able to put the next right foot forward and going from there.
What was the point of realization for you in your personal journey? And when did you realize that these are my superpowers, and this is the work that I've been put here to do?
I love the thought of it being a superpower. And I spent 10 years as a tax attorney. So I practiced law right after I got out of law school. And I loved the work. I loved being able to deal with the puzzle pieces of having rules and exceptions to exceptions. All that was super, super interesting to me. But everyone came to me in trouble. Everyone came to me stressed, and it was always a high stress environment. And at some point, I just realized that I didn't want that anymore. I wanted to help people be more proactive rather than reactive. And luckily, I got a little push that my firm was splitting. And one of the partners said, "Oh, you can come with me and I'll put you on the partnership track. And 5 to 7 years, you'll be a partner." And I'm like, 5 to 7 years? I've already been working for you for 10. Why would I need to wait? And then I discovered that I could have my own financial planning firm. I'd gotten my CFP during my time as a tax attorney just because I love it. I love the work. I love being able to learn more about financial planning and how money plays a pivotal role in the lives that we want to live. And so I discovered that I can open my own firm and decided to take the leap. And why wait? Why wait for someone else to do it for me when I can do it myself? And so it was also the time of marriage equality. And I realized that I wanted to help the people, my community. We were about to get 1,100 more rights than we had before, and nobody talks to us about those things. So being able to walk them through that process was important to me. But then I soon realized after I started the business that I was pulled in so many different directions. Right? I was serving LGBTQ couples. And that pulled me in a lot of different directions. And the thing that kept recurring is that business owners would come to me because of my tax background and because I represented them before the IRS. And they wanted to make sure that they didn't have to get in trouble with how their business was running. So that was always appealing to me. And so about 3 years in, I realized, actually, I want to niche down. I want to make sure that I'm excited about what I do, which I do. I love what I do. I love helping people live the life that they want and build the business that they want. One of my also main goals is to close the racial wealth gap and make sure that people who look like me don't have to suffer through what we've suffered through already. And so being able to build wealth in a way that is sustainable and can pass on to other people is also important to me. So it is really a process of listening to what excited me, listening to what I felt like was my passion, following that, and then continuing to just build, measure, learn, saying, all right, I like this. I don't like this. I'm good at this. I'm not so good at this. And being able to really just continue to do that work around who I am and what I want to do and have that vision in mind and keep walking in that direction, right? It's never going to be perfect. I'm sure you know that life isn't perfect. But if we know that we are going in the direction that we want to go, that's the important part. We'll get there eventually.
And I like that you say that you can create what you want, because I think sometimes we feel that if we are in a certain community, or if we are born a certain way, or born into certain families, or that we are stuck in a particular way, and that we do have the freedom to be whoever we want to be and create the impact that we want to, and our identity is a big part of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I really think that it's hard for us, especially people of color or those people in the LGBTQ community, because we are told that we're less than. We are told that we are less significant, or that there are things in our way that we will never overcome. And a part of that is true, right? Our society is built against us. And we can still build whatever we want. People have been doing this for centuries. We've seen entrepreneurs in the 1800s, right? Black entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Build amazing empires. And there are few and far between. So my goal is to make sure that you can see other people like you and listen to other people like you, listen to their stories, their experience, strength, and hope around building their business, to know that you can do it too. And the more we get people understanding that they get to build whatever they want and they can do it just like the other person did it, the better this is going to get for all of us.
Yeah. And I think what I understood from the other conversation that you had was that as much as we might intellectually think that we can build whatever we want, sometimes it's these stigmas still kind of linger someplace within us. And these blocks sometimes are our own blocks and not necessarily society's blocks.
I would say more than sometimes. I would say all the time.
Okay.
Right. It's us blocking ourselves.
Yeah.
And it, like I said, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's hard. I feel it and I experience it every day. But but going back to that moment where it clicks for people, where it clicks of like, oh, I can build this and I don't have to do things a certain way. I don't have to do things just because somebody else did it. And being that person being able to see, I don't need to meet with people on the weekends. I don't need to stay open until 10 o'clock at night or run myself ragged. I can build a business that really works for me and still gives me the life that I want. That is really the turning point for most people. And once you get it, and then you start really thriving.
I love examining the values of companies, and I like the ones that you have listed on your website. And if you don't mind, I'd like us to go through them and for you to talk about number one, the importance of why you think values are important, and why you came up with the ones you did for your business. And so the very first one, your second one, I'm gonna do last, but your first one is lead by example.
Yeah. So why I think values are important, just to begin with, I think these are lenses that we use to make decisions around business. With businesses, you get the opportunities to be pulled in different directions. And so you have to center yourself on something. You have to know, like I said, where you're going to go and why you want to get there, and the tools that you're going to use to get there. And so I think it's really important. We do this as a part of our discovery process. When we talk about mission, vision, values, I take them through a values exercise to say, all right, so what are your core principles? Who are you? Who are you going to be? Who are you going to represent to the world? And does this ring true for yourself, or is it something that people have always told you? And so my first one, lead by example, I was in a group of people and somebody said, the best sermon is a good example. And that has always just stayed with me, that you can say whatever you want to say, but people will listen to what you're doing. They'll see what you're doing, and then that's how they'll think of you. And so I'm not going to just talk the talk. I want to walk the walk. I want to build a business that is successful, that gives me the life that I want, that allows me to go to the gym every day, that allows me to take amazing vacations. I was just in New Zealand. I just got married, and we rented out an entire boat for our 100 closest friends and family. Like, I want to show people that I am living the life that I want and doing it on my own terms. And so to me, leading by example is always one that I want to make sure I'm not just talking the talk, I'm walking the walk.
I love that. And another one that spoke very, very deeply to me, it says, listen deeply and speak with care.
Yeah. The reason I love podcasting is because I love talking with people. I love having conversations, and not conversations that are just service, that are deep, meaningful conversations. And I know that to really have a deep and meaningful conversation with somebody, I need to listen, and I need to listen with care. It's not just waiting for me to speak and say, oh, I relate to this, or I want to do this. It's really listening to Sonia and saying, I get it. I see you. I see and hear you and know that your story is valid. And that's also a way that I can remind myself that what I think I'm put on this earth to do, where I feel like my zone of genius lies, is having conversations and being able to really listen to people and let them know that they are heard and they're valued. And only then do I speak, right? I listen first and then I speak. So it's just a reminder for myself to really do what I'm put on this earth to do and make sure that I'm hearing people and having these conversations. Because to me, life is about connection. And that's what this is.
And I love that it wasn't just listen, but it was listen deeply.
Yeah.
Right. And I know that was intentional for you.
Absolutely. All these words were picked with intention, and they're there on purpose. And that's what I want clients to do. I want you to have intention around what you're doing. And it's so easy to go through life without intention. So we take our time with these things and say, all right, does this resonate? Does this really resonate? And being able to test that value in a way that makes sure it's a core value.
All right. Can you talk about that? Testing the value to make sure that it's a core value?
It's a part of the process that I go through, because I feel like I've seen that people have specific values because this is what they were told that they needed to have as a value. This is how they needed to appear in the world. I can't be selfish. I can't think money is important because that makes me a bad person. right? All these stories that we're told that aren't necessarily true, because what you just told me is that it's important for you to have money, because that money is going to buy you something else. It's going to buy you time. It's going to buy you time with your family. It's going to buy you a vacation that you want. It's okay for it to be important. So we try to do and go through scenarios to say, are these values that are actually core you, or are these something that you've been told? And being able to take them through scenarios and say, well, what happens if you're being thrown a lot of money, but this means that you are going to have to then spend 80 hours a week working in your business? Is that important to you? Is that the most valuable thing to you? Is it money? Is it time? Is it, and then what can we use as an anchor for saying, bringing you back to what is important to me? And again, this all comes from experience, right? It's
Right.
from talking with clients and seeing people build businesses and seeing them be pulled in several directions, and have to really rely on what their values are, what their vision is, what their mission is. And I'm always here as a thought partner to say, all right, let's talk this through. You told me before that your values were your family, that your values were time to yourself. Does this decision that you're going to make represent those things, and being able to walk through that process? But you need an anchor. You need something to keep you grounded. And so that's why we test them in the beginning to say, is this really you? Because if it's not really you, it will still go by the wayside.
I love that.
We'll be right back after this message.
Appreciate all that we have.
This was a newer one for me. Every gratitude became a big thing in the past couple of years. And I really always sort of poo-pooed it and was like, oh, that's a weird concept. I feel like it's fake. But then I started doing a gratitude list. I have a gratitude buddy that we text each other every night. And I was like, you know what? This is actually keeping me present and thankful for even the little things in my life. A nice walk outside, a good meal. Sometimes it's a client canceling an appointment, right? Things that I'm just grateful to have that time. We had a great laugh at the beginning of this conversation, right? I really felt that. And that type of thing.
And I needed that.
I needed it too.
And I really needed that.
I needed that too. It was a tough day. It was a long day. And just to have that moment of like, oh, right. This is what this is about. Those types of things I've learned. I need help being grateful for those things and appreciative of those things. Really keeps me present and really keeps me on track with what I'm doing and making sure that I'm not taking this for granted, right? Every day that goes by is time, one less day that I have on this world. And being able to really say, no, I'm going to take these little moments and appreciate these little moments. By the time that I get to the end of my life, I will know that I've really lived a grateful, present, and appreciative of life.
It's interesting that you say that, because I used to think the whole gratitude thing was just like another like self-help gimmick kind of thing. As I get older, I recognize that it is a vibration, and it's an important vibration to hold, to feel grateful, not just being grateful, but to feel what gratitude feels like. And so, yes, I totally understand and appreciate all that you're saying about that.
I love the word vibration. Tell me more about that. I'd love to hear and vibration as far as like feeling it in your body. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and so when I did start, and I don't practice it often, and maybe this conversation is the impetus for me to start again. But I recognized that when I could get up and say thank you for certain things, that I could literally just feel the gratitude. It wasn't just, at first it just felt like it was just an exercise. That's something that they would want, this is what this guide is telling you to do. And so you're just going to do this exercise. But when I really started saying, thank you for these things, or thank you for my family, thank you for this day. And I could feel it, like I could feel my heart opening. If that is, I'm being a little more vulnerable than I wanted to be on this podcast, but I could feel my heart. I could literally feel my heart opening, and I could feel the strength of what it is to be thankful and grateful.
Yeah, that's so powerful. Being able to really internalize and feel it
And
right? It's
feel it. Yeah.
not just go through the actions, but feeling that
Right.
gratitude, feeling that
Yeah.
appreciation, and
Yeah.
really internalizing it. And that's
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal that word. Hopefully you don't mind. Vibration. I want the
Not at all.
vibration.
Not at all. And your the fifth one, which I said I was holding to last, that's the one that struck me, is choose courage.
Mm. Yeah, this is in particular to the community I serve, right? And whether you're a Black or brown person, or an LGBTQ person, or both, it takes courage to put yourself out in the world. And
Yeah.
again, it starts with knowing who you are and knowing who you want to be, how you want to show up in the world, and then being open and vulnerable to show that person.
Yeah.
It's not easy for us. It's because we have all these things that say we're lesser than, and we're not as important, or we're not as significant, or we're not valuable or worthy enough. And I'm trying to really instill with people that your identity is an asset. Who you are, and you are lovable as you are. You don't need to be anybody else. You don't need to be a superstar. You don't need to be Beyonce. Beyonce is Beyonce. So you got to be somebody else. Being who you are takes courage. And I need to really hone in on that and show up every day as who I am and what I've been put on this earth to do. And it's a continuing practice, right? It's not something that you do once and you stop, right? And it's choosing courage. You choose it every day. You choose to show up who you are. For us in the LGBTQ community, we're constantly coming out. And being able to choose courage every time in that moment is so important, not only for life, but in your business. You are going to have so many opportunities that you will be able to put down your identity and for the sake of money or for the sake of fame or for the sake of something else. But that's not living an aligned life. And so I want people to have the courage to know that, to really feel centered in who they are, feel who they are, and have the courage to be that person.
Yeah. Particularly, I guess, in an environment, not I guess, but particularly in an environment where these social environments where everyone has a comment on or criticism, right?
Yeah.
On how you show up, how you look, how you present, how you think. And so I recently heard someone say that, everyone wants to be viral, but could you really handle a viral moment? And that frightened me right? Because of course you want more listeners. Of course you want more people to engage, but that comes with criticism and critique. And can you be courageous enough, right, to handle it all?
Right. I would love to hear what you think, how you, in that environment where you are put in the spotlight, you've gone viral. What do you use to make sure that you are staying anchored and stable in that situation?
I think for me, what challenges me, and my producer who is listening knows, like sometimes you don't want to come out of any boxes because you don't want to be. I know that's my fear, right? Not coming out of any boxes, and so this is the line. I'm going to walk the line, but it's not necessarily who I am, right? I don't get that. Sometimes I don't feel that that I'm expressing all of who I am because I don't want the criticism. And it's easier just to kind of walk the line sometimes. And that's why the choose courage as a value, right, is so powerful, because it made me think before this interview, like this is something that we do have to focus on every day, because the courage to be yourself is not necessarily just for yourself, right? It's for all the other people that you're going to help. It's all the people who are waiting for the message or waiting to see you and be like, oh, I can do that because she's doing that, and that's okay. And I feel inspired by it, right? And so that is that I feel like we're in church today. I feel like you're Catholic church too. I'm like, it's a confession.
But you said it perfectly. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself, right? That it's not just for you, it's for everyone else. And this is why all of my values are intertwined, right? They all relate. It's people who are watching you. They're not listening to what you're saying. They're watching what you're doing.
Yeah.
and being able to put yourself out there. And it's still something I struggle with, right? I have a podcast that I want
Right.
people to listen to, but I don't think I ever want to be famous. Being famous sounds awful. Not being able to go
Right.
somewhere because people
Right.
recognize you or always want to talk to you or or are trying to go after you because of how much money you have. Like, it's a push and pull. And
Yeah.
what I've learned in building a business and just sort of living life is that it's about balance. It's not about, there's no black and white. There's a
Right.
lot of gray. And especially with just how my mind works, I'm a very type A, black and white person. And being an entrepreneur and a business owner has taught me, no, it's all gray.
It's
It's
all
all gray.
great.
So you need something to keep you anchored, and being able to know that I can say, am I choosing courage? Am I leading by example? Am
Yeah.
I showing up as my best self by listening to other people and being humble enough to listen with care? All of those things come together to know that, to keep me anchored in what I'm doing and how I'm showing up in the world every day. It's a choice every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
And the work is okay, right? It's okay to
Yep.
feel that some days may be tough,
hmm
but you
Yeah.
can work through it.
You can work through it, and it's okay to have a tough day, right? So I think we both were sort of feeling down and exhausted at this point, and then we had that moment.
Yeah.
All of that's okay, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm probably saying this more to myself than anybody else, that it's okay to have a down day. It's okay to feel
Yeah.
bad. It's okay to need rest. My emotions are here. I'll speak for myself, to tell me something. And
Right.
they may be saying, you need to take a break today. You need to rest. You need to watch TV. You need to go for a walk. No, there's no bad emotions in my world. They're just giving me signals and telling me what I need to do. And all of that is okay.
What do you think is next or what would you like to be next in this mission-driven journey of yours?
I struggle with this question because I feel like I'm where I need to be. I want to
Mm.
continue to feel aligned. I feel so
Mm.
aligned in my business. I think what I'm focusing on are making sure that I'm sharing stories. So making sure that my podcast grows, which is I'm making more of an effort to get on other people's podcasts, right? You saw me on somebody
Mhm.
else's. I get to be on your podcast. Hopefully you can come on mine. It's really
I'd
like
love that.
having conversations and being able to really lean into what I feel like is my zone of genius. That's where I want to go next. And
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it's for fame, but I want to have
Right.
impact, right?
Mhm.
I've been put on this earth to leave it better than it was when I got here. And that's from helping others do that, having others have an impact, but also showing them that they can build a business, that they can have the impact that they want, that they can live the life that they want, leading by example, and being able to do that. So the future, that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to continue for it to be me leading by example and continue to grow, continue to have the impact, continue to have a great life, continuing to do the things that I want to do, and making sure that I'm not only valuing money, but I'm also valuing my time, my social connections, my physical health, being able to really take all of those into account and create the balance that I want in life and continue down this road. But hopefully you can hear it in my voice, but I feel so grateful for this opportunity, for the things that I do, for having a business. Now it's going on 10 years. I'm
Wow.
so grateful that I get to do this. And I want other people to feel this way. I want other people to know that this is possible for them, especially people that look like me, especially for people that are like me. I want them to know that you can do it too. So that's the impact that I hope to continue to have.
I'd like to know what type of child were you growing up?
My mom would love this question. So I'm the youngest. I have an older brother, and he was a wild child, right? So he was obstinate. He was adventurous. He's a risk taker. He still is, right? He still has all of those things. So I just felt like I had to be the opposite. Right? I was very calm,
Mm.
collected. I was very much an introvert, which I still am. But I, as a little gay kid, I wanted to feel okay and feel safe. And to me, that had to show up as people pleasing. I wanted to be somebody that people thought I wanted. I wanted to be someone that I thought people wanted me to be. So it was a lot of people pleasing. It was a lot of high achieving, which again helped me and it got me to law school, got me a business. Like there's there were many things that area, what I call areas of improvement, they got me, right? But I was just definitely someone who had a hard time being himself, and I had a hard time being the person that I really was inside because I didn't feel safe, right? I couldn't be a gay kid. I was a Black kid that grew up in a very white community. So my dad was a successful businessman, worked for General Motors for a long time as an executive then, and told me from very early on, said, you don't get to do things like everyone else. People are looking at us. Oh, it's just sort of interesting that just popped in my mind, the sort of lead by example, right? People are watching us. That's been me from my childhood. Having courage, right? Me not being able to be myself in my childhood. All the stuff that I'm now, even just saying out loud, is a part of who I am now and has taught me to be who I am. But I wasn't completely myself. I was a people pleaser. I wanted to morph into who people wanted me to be. But I was the type of kid that did the daily readers, like the daily readers that have the religious readers, or I was super into religion for a long time because I wanted to learn how to live the best life. I've always been sort of philosophical, and I wanted to learn how to, so I would do daily readers, and I've been journaling since I was, very, very young. So very thoughtful, very complaint. I'm going to keep trying to say the word, but even though I can't say it.
It's okay. We know what you mean.
Thanks. But always someone who was philosophical and wanted to learn how to live the best life. And also,
right.
Like I said, very type A. And part of that was just me wanting to feel safe, both as a Black person and as a Black gay kid. I had a lot on me, so I needed to know that I needed to create safety around myself when I didn't feel safe in the world.
When you review your journals today, what thoughts go through your head?
So I tend not to read my journals. I've done it a couple times. I tend not to reread them because every time that I've looked back, I've realized that the things that I was worried about as a child or as a teenager are just so unimportant, right? I was worried about fitting in, or what somebody said to me, or, my dad died when I was in college, and that really changed the way that I viewed the world. I thought he was invincible. I did look up to him, but we also had a very fraught relationship. And when he died, I was like, oh, okay. So things don't always go how you want them to be. And that was really the first point that I really started, I think, diving deeper into who I was. Like the journals from early on were all about what happened today. I was a runner, me losing a race. And those types of things I don't feel like are important anymore. But now, recently I get more reflective about the things we've already talked about: who I am, who I want to be, how I'm showing up, how I'm feeling. Being engaged with my feelings is sort of a new thing. My therapist said, I used to only engage with the feelings that I thought were useful and put all the other ones to the side. Very pragmatic.
Very pragmatic.
Very pragmatic, very type A. I have a spreadsheet for everything in my life. I track all my food. I track all my money, like everything. I love order and control and having things in order. So being able to engage with my emotions has really been a really fun experience for me, to know that I can really engage with who I am, take some time to breathe, decompress, and really think about who I am and who I want to be and how I want to show up in the world. But I usually only use it as an in-moment thing. I have that journal time, and then I just leave them. I don't ever read. And I can, if I want to. I have them all in my computer, but I tend not to go back and read them.
Well, thank you for showing us what personal and professional evolution can look like, and that freedom is possible, right? That you can come from wherever and transform wherever you are into, I'm going to keep repeating that, you can be and create whatever you want. Right. Yep. I think that's been your message here today. And it's an important one for me today. And I know for those who are listening.
Thank you for having me on. I love that it allowed me to show who I am and how you can build whatever you want. and you get to be whoever you want, and you can have that alignment. You can have that freedom. That word has been so important to help to the business owners that I help and to myself, the freedom to be who I am and have the life that I want and have the impact that I want. That's what it's all about.
Thank you so much. Please tell us how to stay in touch and to follow you and even request your services.
Well, my website is btfinancial.com. So you can always find me there. I have a blog. I have a podcast. The Mission Driven Business Podcast is where I spent a lot of my time recently. Like I said, I want to grow my audience, grow the impact that I have. So I'm spending a lot of time on revamping that and having more conversations, more impactful conversations. I'm also on Instagram. You can find me there. I love social media and how that works. And you can always reach out to me, Brian at btfinancial.com. Because I love talking with people, engaging with people, and I want to help people have this life that I have.
Well, I'd also like to have you back because one of the things we didn't get to talk about was pay and what to charge folks and how to do that and how that's a self-esteem, can be a self-esteem issue as well. And so I would love to just have a full conversation on that if you would be willing to come back.
I would. We've had such a great conversation. I would love to come back. And I think that's such a pivotal part that entrepreneurs who have been told that they're less than have trouble with, right? Showing that or believing that you're valuable, internalizing that you're valuable and being able to charge for it.
Well, thank you, Brian. Look forward to having you back.
Thank you for having me. I look forward to being back.
Thank you for being here today. And thank you all for listening. We'll be back again next week with another great guest. Take care.
The Business First Podcast is hosted and produced by Sonia Alleyne. Executive producer Ken Johnson. Find the Business First Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Odyssey, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, TuneIn, or wherever you get your podcast. On social media on IG at business_first_podcast. Follow the Mean Old Line Media Podcast Network on IG at Mean Old Line Media. Get the Mean Old Line Media app in the App Store or Google Play. The Business First Podcast is a Mean Old Line Media production.